everyone, here in Parziba, and this is the first tutorial of the C programming language where we will learn about the introduction and its compilation process. So let's start with the introduction of the C programming language. Okay, so whenever we talk about the introduction of any programming language, so there are many thoughts that comes in our mind, like who developed it, what are the need to learn this programming, what are the features and the uses of this programming, and many more thoughts that comes in our mind related to that programming language. So here if I talk about the C programming, so it is developed by the Dennis Ritchie, and it is the one of the procedure programming language. Here the word procedural means set of instructions that is used in the C program will be executed step by step. For example, if I want to add any two numbers, then what are the three basic steps that I need to take to add the two numbers? Firstly, I have to read the data from the users, or I have to collect the two values from the user. Then the second step I have to use is to perform the calculation on the collected data, and then on the final step I have to print it. So the procedural programming work on the step by step means firstly it will take the values from the user, it will read the values, and then it will perform the calculation on that values, and then it will show the output. So this is one of the example of the procedural programming. So there are many features of the C programming language, like its first feature is it is the portable. Here the word portable means machine independent, means we can run the C program on any platform, on any machine, without any changes in a program. Means same number of lines will be executed on any machine. Then the third point says it is the mother language of all the modern programming languages, because most of the compilers and JVMs are written in the C language, and also there are many modern programming languages that comes after the C programming language. C programming is faster than the most other programming language. Like if I compare the C programming with Java, so in C compiler is used for the compilation process, and in Java interpreter is used for the compilation process. As we already discussed about the difference between the compiler and the interpreter in our previous video, like the compiler is used to compile whole program at once, whereas the interpreter is used to compile the program line by line, so it will take more time as compared to the compiler. So that is one of the reason why the C programming is faster than the Java programming. Then after learning C, it will be much easier to learn other programming language. Yes, of course, if you want to learn the programming language, so you must have to start your journey from the C programming, because all the basics concepts covered in the C programming language, like the variables, data types, keywords, conditional statements, looping statements, and many more points will be covered in the C programming. So as you will see, in all high level programming languages you will see the variables, conditional statements, data types, and all these things will be repeated in almost all the high level programming language. So it will be easy for you to learn other programming language if you have completed all those basics concepts in the C programming. Then the last point is C is a universal language. Yes, because it is used to develop the various types of applications. Like there are many examples of the C programming. You can develop the Unix operating system, and here the Google Chrome is one of the example that is developed by the C programming. and then Apple C is one of the compiler that is developed by the C programming. Even you can also develop the games like Tic Tac Toe and Snake game are the examples that is developed by the C programming language. Okay, so let's discuss about the compilation process of C program. So here you can see there are the following steps that is used to compile the C program. So let's discuss all these steps one by one. So in the first step, the source code is converted into the expanded code. The source code is converted into the expanded code. What is source code? The text or the instructions that is written in any of the programming language that is called the source code. So here in the first box, this C program is called the source code that is going to convert into the expanded code by the help of with the help of preprocessor. Okay, the role of the preprocessor is to include the code of the header file, remove the comments, and replace the macro text with the with its value. So we will discuss the header files, comments, and macros in our later series. Now, let me show you how this expanded file is generated by the preprocessor. So for that, firstly you have to download the MinGW. Firstly, you have to download the MinGW compiler. Okay, MinGW is the compiler that is used to compile the C program, or we can say it is one of the software development environment that includes the GCC and the G++ compiler to compile the program. It also includes the libraries and the header files that is used to develop the Windows applications. So here I'm going to skip the downloading steps because I have already installed it. I have already installed it on my machine. So once you have successfully installed it, then you can see this MinGW folder, and within this folder you can see these folders. And when you click on this bin folder, then you can see this GCC and the G++ compiler. GCC is used to compile the C program, whereas G++ is used to compile the C++ program. So here we will use this GCC compiler to compile the C program. So now just check the version of the GCC compiler. Now to check the version of the GCC compiler, you have to use a command that is GCC space double hyphen version. So here you can see the version of the GCC compiler. If you have successfully installed the MinGW, then you can see this version. Okay, now here I'm going to create a simple program that I have already created in this box. So here I'm going to create the same program and to show you how this expected code is generated by the preprocessor. Okay. Then this is the main method, and this is a comments.
We will discuss all these code in our later series. So here I use the header files, main methods, comments, and then the printf methods. So we will discuss all these things in our later series. So just for today, you have to simply understand the concept of the compilation process. And then here I'm using the line macro. Okay, now save this program with the uh, .c file extension, because the program is saved with the .c extension. Okay, so now you have to go to this command prompt. Okay. Now here I created the C program. Now I'm going to generate the expanded code of this C program. So for that I have to simply change the directory or choose a directory where I have saved the C program. So here I'm going to change the path, and then here I am going to use a command that is cpp and the uh, program name, that is program.c. Now here you can see this expected code of the source code file is generated. So this is the expected code of the source code, or you can see this is the expected code of the C program. So here this code, this above code is the predefined code of the stereo header file, and then mm, okay, and then you can see here this is the main method. Okay, and then here the comments are removed by the preprocessor. Here you can see I use the comment, but in the expanded code you will not see the comments here. And then the macro text is replaced by the line number. Okay, so this is all about the preprocessor. So let's move to the next step, that is the compiler. So once the expanded code is generated by the processor, so this expanded code is passed to the compiler to generate the assembly code. So let me show you how this assembly code is generated by the compiler. For that, you have to use a command that is gcc and then your program file and then hyphen s, because the assembly file is saved with the .s extension. So now you have to go to this your folder, then you can see this assembly file is generated by the compiler. So you have to simply click on this and open it with the notepad to see how this assembly code file looks. So this is the assembly code that is generated by the compiler. Now move to the next step, that is the assembler. Once the assembly code is generated, then this assembly code is passed to the assembler, and the role of the assembler is to generate the object code of that file. So now use a command gcc program dot c hyphen capital. Now here you can see this object code of that file is generated. You will not be able to see the object code of the assembly code because it creates the exe of that code directly. So once the object code is generated, then it passes to the linker, and the role of the linker is to link the object code of the libraries or the other files. Means if you have the two C program files, then it will link all those files with the help of this command, and then it will generate a single exe file of that. Now, once a single exe file is generated, then what it will do, it will exe file is generated, it passed to the loader. Loader is a part of the operating system that is responsible for loading the executable files into the memory and to execute them. So here we discuss all those compilation steps. Okay, you don't need to write all the commands to compile C program. I just did it to show you how all these files are generated and how it looks. You can simply use a single command instead of using all those commands to compile the C program, that is the GCC program.c, because it already include all those compilation steps. So thank you for watching my video. I hope you understand the concept of the compilation process. Now, okay, thank you.